How's it going, everyone? Alex with Jeeps Limited here. So on this video today, this is the second video of a two-part episode of working on my YJ, the YJ restoration project I'm working on. I'm going to be finishing up what I started on the last video on the driver's side floor pan and side of the tub on my YJ here. So if you guys want to see the start of this portion of the project, go back in my videos about a week or so. That's when I posted the first episode or first video of this episode. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy what's coming up here. And if you want to see some more, just follow along. All right, so I got this partially in. I mean, again, it really doesn't look good. And it's like, you know, like details like this. I put the B pillar in, okay? And if you guys recall before the first episode, I showed you like a situation with the B pillars. They don't fit right. So there's a big gap right in there, and which is probably fine, but I wanted to just fill it in because I don't know, it just seemed like the right thing to do. So I welded this extra plate on there. So this is the B pillar. I welded this extra plate on here to close up the gap that's in there. And then I guess just the way I did that on the other side too, and then this piece of metal, which just creates the back wall of the tub, slid right by it. In this instance, it butted right to it. So I trimmed this piece short, and it's like it's all welded on, and like there's a gap here, which I mean, I'm just gonna fill it in with like JB weld or something. It really doesn't matter. I mean, this is all fully welded. It's gonna be pretty solid. And I'm just going to JB weld that, and it'll be filled in, paintable, and then you're really not going to notice. So, I mean, like, stuff like that, it looks like shit now. But when I'm actually done, I think it'll be fine. Apparently I had a fitment problem there, and then not really paying attention to the size of some of these. And you know, I had to make this piece a ½ inch longer, but I also did that on the floor, too. But whatever, I mean, that's in. And then the B pillar, plus a lot of this stuff too, these shitty welds and shitty spots are all on the bottom of the car, or you're not really gonna see them. In here, on this side, I'm gonna wait. I have the B pillar tacked in. Gravity, rough on that one. I have the B pillar tacked in. I'm just gonna fully weld it with it laying down this time, so it doesn't turn out like that side didn't really turn out all that great. And then it's still not bad. It's not going to go anywhere. And then I had this same weird fitment problem here. Just weird gap. I laid all the B pillar cuts out one time and cut it and just fit right in, which was amazing. When I did the other side, I had to like keep trimming it and whatnot. This one just kind of fit in the first time, which was cool. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's when you look at it, like what you're going to see on the inside. It's a whole lot cleaner than it looks on the outside. So, but yeah, I'm calling it a night. It's pretty late, but I was kind of on a roll there. It was actually going pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. So, anyway, I don't know if I'll be at this tomorrow, but I will be back. So, stay tuned. All right, so it's a new day. It's actually a Monday morning at like 7 a.m. I'm working second shift today, so I'm trying to get some work done before I go to work. As you can see, I've upgraded my safety glasses. The safety glasses I was using before were just regular safety glasses, and actually, last time I was working on this, I got some shit in my eye, like that went around the glasses, and then I spent my birthday going to a couple different doctors so that they could literally pick the metal out of my eye with needles, and then they actually ended up having to use like a Dremel to actually grind the metal out of my eye, which was pretty unfortunate. So I'm upgrading to actual goggles so that hopefully that doesn't happen again. So I don't have a whole lot of time today, so I think I'm going to try and just fill in this piece of the fender well. It's really a pretty small piece. Actually, this is a much smaller piece probably than I replaced on the other side, maybe. But all I really need to do is fill in from here and fill in that. So I think I'll probably make a cardboard template and just trace it onto some steel, cut it, and get it tacked in. And that might be my day for today. We'll see. We'll see how how fast that goes, see if I have time afterwards, but that's what I'm going to get started on here. All right, so I got this piece, fitted in and welded up. It's fully welded. I fully welded everything that I did the other day. This is all fully welded. That's fully welded. This is just not getting welded more than it is right there because it's also welded on from this side too. So it's not going to go anywhere. It's just all this piece is doing actually is creating this little lip here because I cut this piece too short. So it's just really aesthetics. And then this doesn't need to be fully welded. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, and I welded and grinded off the top, so that looks pretty good as well. So that's all I'm doing as of right now. Next time I'm out here, I think I'm gonna finish cutting this piece out, cut all this shit out, and then start filling this back in up until the floor pan, and then getting this brace back in. So, yep, stay tuned. Also, I'm going to point out this spot, and then this spot here where I have big gaps. I'm not even going to bother weld them. I don't feel like chasing all of this. I'm just going to fill it in with like body sealer or something. I mean, it really doesn't. This little bit, and this little bit is not really making any difference in the structural integrity of the panel here. So I'm just going to fill it in with seam sealer rather than chase this around. Just figured I'd point that out since you can see it in the video. Alright, everybody, it is a new day. My phone is fixed. See, I can zoom out, no weird glare. Alright, so we left off yesterday on this. This is fully welded. Well, or as welded as, it's gonna get. Ground as smooth as it's gonna get. And I think because I don't have a plan, the way I'm going to proceed here, I still don't want to like cut this whole thing out. So today, I'm at least going to get started. I'm just going to cut this here, kind of up close to this support. Cut it up here, and then there's like a lip where this was pinch welded, or not pinch welded. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lip here where it did the thing that I have to get off of the outside skin. So I'm going to take it, cut it up here, and just cut it along here, and then figure out how to peel that off. It's probably, spot welded. Like, you can see the lip here more, so I'm going to have to do it along the whole thing, actually. So I don't know. I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to cut here, and then figure out how to get that off of there. And then I'm just going to continue this piece of floor across at least to here before I cut this out the rest of the way. And then I'll cut this off, finish cutting out for the floor pan, get this and the floor pan probably back installed, and then just button up this last bit of floor into it. And then fix that, and then, then fix some other things. I don't know. I'm gonna try and make some new body mounts here. I'm gonna cut this here. This one, I'm gonna cut it here and probably just replace all of this with like a piece of like. Actually, that even wasn't my. I don't know. I'll do something with that. I'll just edit that part out. I don't know. Anyway, enough rambling. That's what I'm doing today. Alright, I was able to get that cut out, and then I got that little lip piece off of there. It just had some plug welds in it, so some of them broke off, I think. A couple of them I drilled out. So I'm going to... since it had that lip on there, and it's probably adding some amount of rigidity, I'm just going to bend another lip back on there, because bending like a gentle curve or like a 90 like that's not too terribly hard. So I'm going to do that and then tie it into here. So I'll probably go from like here. Let me zoom that out. I'm probably going to go from like somewhere right around here. I'm just going to stop short of that. Put that 90 degree in. Tie it into here. And tie this floor piece in. And then use this. This will help. Like I said, I put this in there because I kind of messed up this piece. But that'll help tie them together. And then I don't really honestly know why I didn't fill in this piece the other day when I did it. So I'm just going to make a piece in there with another bend to finish that up. I left that out because I think for whatever reason I thought I was going to cut more of this out, but I'm not. Or maybe I thought maybe if I had to cut it out, and I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to get something fitted up there and get it welded in. Alright, I wanted to show you guys what I decided to do here. I just cut a square piece, and rather than trying to bend that piece up here to make that 90, where it was plug welded before, I decided I had this angle iron that I had bought at one point, just in a case. I'm going to use this up there. I'm going to weld it to the patch, and I'm going to weld it back to the body through these plug welds that I drilled out. And that's going to give it that rigidity and give it a way to weld it on here nicely. Rather than trying to bend this piece. So just thought I wanted to show you guys what I was doing here. So this might come as a surprise to some, but certain parts of this project were not well thought through and rushed with little to no thought put into it. This is one of them. So I really didn't pay any attention to like the shape of the floor. Like there's different elevations here. This is, I believe, bowed from the factory. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Like, these gaps here don't exist on the bottom. Like, down there. That wasn't a problem. So, like, this whole floor is just really, like, not right. Like, and it should be bowed, because if you look at the way this piece is shaped, it curves in like that. So I don't really know how I'm gonna get that flat like it's supposed to be. And see, like, another, yeah, like, I bent this piece, has a nice little fold in it that follows this fold here, but this big piece doesn't have that. So it might, quite honestly, if the body mounts to the frame, I don't think it really matters. And then this is probably going to be more of an issue when it comes time to put the roll cage in, which might just have to be shimmed, which is not really a good structural design probably, though I do have some great pieces of, like, 1/2-inch thick solid steel that's already pre-drilled. Hang on. See, I keep crap like this for a reason. I don't even know where I got these. There's some random shims from something. Oh, that's nice. I could probably fit that in there if I really needed to shim that out. Anyway, I'll worry about that when the time comes. But, so I put, and I have, now that I cut all of this out, I have no reference as to where this was, other than lining it back up here where I drilled it out. And then I was able to, when I drilled the holes here, which is a hot tip, don't forget to drill holes for body mounts and whatnot. When I drilled those holes, this piece was still the original floor, so I could kind of line up where this came out and then drill those holes. And now I'm using these holes in this hole as just a reference to make sure it's straight the way it needs to be. Whether or not it's actually anywhere near where it's supposed to be, I don't know. And I couldn't take measurements off of this one here, because I did that before I removed it, and they were not in the same spot. So, I think this is about where it goes. I clamped that side, and I just tacked this side so that it hopefully won't go anywhere. And I want to leave it there as I cut this part out, just so that I really know it's, like, where I think it needs to be. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't line back up with any of the body mounts on the frame. In which, if that's the case scenario, what I'm probably going to have to do, I mean, I'm hoping it will. But worst case scenario, I'll probably just cut this off the frame here, find a new piece with a bigger hole in it, or, like, with the same size hole, just relocate it in there. And hope that I can kind of move the shit around a little bit, because that body mount I just showed you would go right here. Which you also have an amount of play. I mean, they designed these so you can see how much that thing moves in there. They designed these with amount of play, which is nice. So hopefully it'll be okay, but I really don't know. We'll find out. I patched that back in. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. I did get the angle iron up there, kind of. This piece is really only tacked in just until I get this in. And I did that because, like I said, I had to, like, fold and bend and hammer and manipulate this piece. And it's a very odd shape. Now it's, like, all wavy. But I think it's wavy, but it follows this pretty well. So I think I'm probably just going to cut this out. I'm just going to cut it there. And then probably get this lip off, which was just plug welded in. And then I might call it a night. Or I might even just call it a night now. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so it is a new day. It's a cold one. I have to have the heat on today. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to get the rest of this piece cut out, get the rest of the floor cut out, and hopefully get the rest of the floor pan cut out, and then get this new piece probably fitted in, and maybe get the floor pan fitted in, and then figure out what I got to do to finish patching the floor. I I really feel like I should be putting something in here to, like, when I cut this out to help support this, but I don't really know where a good spot to put anything is that's not going to be in my way. The only other thing I could do is support it across here or something while I work on this, but I don't know. I don't know if whatever I put in there would do anything, so I think it might be okay. I mean, I got it supported here, so I think we're just going to cut it out, see what it does. It should have some strength in it because of the shape of the door. Should keep it from bowing or bending out of place too much, so yeah, that's what I'm going to be jumping into today, so follow along. Alright, I got that support piece cut out. I cut out the floor pan a bit bigger, but it's going to have to be cut out more, but I'll worry about that when I'm focused more on that. And then there's a lip up here that I had to get off. This time to get the plug welds out, I actually used a step bit, which is a lot faster, honestly, than using the plug bit thing, but you leave a lot bigger holes on there. So like I have all of these holes now that I have to go and fill in, but I had a bunch anyways, but this one over here, like this is all just going to get probably cut out and replaced. So this should be hopefully pretty easy to get this piece fitted back in there. I got the full piece, I just got to cut it down and get it welded here, and then get it, I'm trying to think of what I did before. Yeah, it's got to be just welded to the side of the tub, I suppose, and then I'll put a couple of welds into here too. So this is a little rusty up here. I don't know. I might cut all this out. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, that's cut out. So I'm just going to get that piece fitted up next. Alright, so somehow through no fault of my own, did this get really fucked up somehow. I like way overcut this whole thing by like almost 2 inches. This whole thing on the other side is just like way overcut, but also it just doesn't seem like it lines up properly. I mean, like this belongs here, and this is like recessed behind it. A huge hole here all the way around it. Like it doesn't make sense that the floor would have been on this angle before, but it apparently is now. You can just see how overcut this whole thing is. And then I didn't have to, I just got lazy. There's a piece that comes off here that I cut off just to make this easier. I didn't really have to do that, I just didn't feel like fighting it. And I'll just figure out how to, rebend a corner or something there, which isn't,
I don't think the end of the world. This is where the fender bolts. So it kind of needs to be straight, otherwise the fender's going to be all fucked up probably, but they were all fucked up to begin with, so whatever. I cut the bottom here off, but that's where that old patch was. I actually have a little bit more to cut here, but I'll probably get the floor pan just kind of tacked in and holding on its own before I do that. But yeah, somehow it just didn't line up as good. Like this doesn't even line up. I don't know why. I don't think it's important, to be honest. I think it's just a drain. I don't think it does anything, but yeah, that one just did not fit in as good as the other one. For whatever reason, I don't know why, I really thought that this driver's side was going to be a lot easier than the passenger side because it looked to be in a lot better shape, but in reality, it's actually in significantly worse shape and is requiring a lot more work, which is not really the end of the world. It's just more work. So, but anyway, I got that. I mean, that's where it goes. So I'll get it tacked into place, and then I'm gonna get it tacked into place, and then I have to just figure out how I'm gonna. Like this hole, I knew was gonna be there because this is where I cut out the floor. All of that. It's just this here. It's not honestly gonna be too bad to fix. It's just more work, and I'm gonna fix it all probably from the bottom, so you won't see it on the top. But it's just more work to do, just kind of more headache. And then I gotta patch this back in, and I'll probably get the floor pan welded in, and then slide metal behind this, and then butt it here, butt it there, and then just slide it behind here, and I can get it all welded in. Shouldn't be that big of a deal, but again, just more work that has to be done. So anyway, it's moving on, and progress is progress, right? So I'm gonna get that tacked into place. Alright, so I got that whole big gap filled in pretty decently. I used the 22 gauge steel, actually, because I could get it in there, I could kind of just bend it and shape it the way I needed to. And then this over here was all filled in from the backside, and I'm just going to smooth this out with Bondo or metal filler or something, so it doesn't look great. I don't know why this pan didn't fit right. I guess I didn't really fit it in there as good as I probably should have. It's a different dimensions than the passenger side, which makes sense that it's a different floor pan, obviously, but it just didn't, like, even the thickness here was different than the passenger side. So when I was kind of blindly cutting, I was like, oh, I see how much metal I took out, I see how much metal I need to leave in, and it just wasn't correct. So, oh well. Last thing I really need to do is fill in this piece of floor pan here, which is probably going to be, I don't think too bad. It's a pretty square piece. I'm just going to slide it behind here, and I'm going to butt it here, and then that should be done. So I'm going to do that next, and then I'm going to do the hole up top next, and then at that point, that should actually be all the cutting and removing and replacing of stuff on here, and should be down to just, I'm looking at what's down there. There's a hole here for something, and then there's actually a bolt that needs to like go through there. I just don't know what it's for. It's back in there. Anyways, that'll be the last of the like cutting and patching on both of these sides here. The last thing I'll have is the back, so that's kind of exciting. I mean, this is a cluster fuck over here of just shit, but it's coming together, which makes me happy. So, moving on. All right, so my plan for today is going to be to do this corner repair. I have to cut. I'm going to cut somewhere like here, and then kind of maybe something like that. There's an old patch here. It actually might even go this way. This looks a little rusty. I gotta cut something like that out because there's an old patch here that just looks like garbage and needs to be redone. And then I gotta bring this corner all the way back down to here, you know, in line with this here. So this is gonna be a pretty big patch here. I'm gonna probably do it in one piece. I think it'll be fine. I need to figure out how to bend it like some kind of 90 here. I might utilize that angle iron maybe to make a corner or something here. I'm not 100% sure yet. But that I got to get this cut out, like I said, something like that, and then start getting this fabbed up. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. All right, little change of plans, actually. This patch here that you can see that like runs around here, back to there, that's the patch that we did like 10 or 12 years ago. I was going to cut it out because it looked like it was kind of in bad shape. It's got like a little bit of like surface rusty shit here, but actually the metal's in good shape. And to be honest, this patch, having been just butt welded and grinded back when we were 18, looks better than most of what I've done on this vehicle thus far. So I don't really feel like cutting it out to replace it and have it probably look worse. So I'm actually just going to leave it. I'm going to just clean this edge up a little bit because it's not super straight. But otherwise, I'm actually just going to leave it and then just patch in below it. So a little bit of a change of plan there, but I suppose that's good. Alright, so I got that piece in. I had to make up a little bit of something for this corner here where the fender bolts to it. I just took some of that angle iron I had and welded it in there, and it made like a pretty nice corner. It's quite honestly probably the nicest part of the car at this point. But yeah, this is in. It's ground pretty smooth. Actually, sadly enough, this is probably one of the better panels that I've done. It's actually pretty smooth through here. The only thing I'm really noticing, like this whole corner of the car, like this here is really low. This gets a little bit higher. This bulges up real high. Like, just this whole corner of the tub's really wavy. I mean, even right here got real beat up. There's like 1,000 holes up here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 holes in the tub right there that I might just try backing them with something and then bondoing them or something rather than filling them in with weld like I did the other side. 13, because there's one there too. Getting all of this through here, through the existing part of the tub, which is pretty beat up, and then back to another patch piece, it's really not super straight. It goes up and down, and it goes in and out quite a bit. So if it's like sitting on the ground and you're looking at it, you might notice a little bit of a bow in it, because this piece is a little bit lower than this, and I believe that piece I put in is a little bit lower than this too. But if it looks real bad, which, let's be honest, it probably will, I might look into getting, down the road, just some rocker guards, some of the angle iron ones or whatever that just go on here to just kind of clean it up. I didn't really want to put rockers on it, but I mean, it just might be worth it just to clean it up, but that's something I'll worry about once it's running. But yeah, that one actually turned out pretty decent. I don't think it'll be too hard to... I mean, this whole corner is probably going to end up just being Bondo, because it's high here, it's low there, it's crinkled here, it's high here. We'll see. But yep, that one's done. Alright, so I think we've come to the end of another video here. This side, the driver's side, had a lot more work than I anticipated. Like I said, I thought this was going to be the easy side, but I ended up replacing like half of the side and then basically the whole floor. A lot more on this side than I thought it was going to be, but that's alright. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty decent, we'll say. Definitely going to require a lot of metal filler and body filler, but that's alright. So I think that'll be the end of this episode. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put this thing, lay it flat. I built a cart last year that'll keep it like 18 inches or 2 feet off the ground, and it can sit flat and I can wheel it around and work on it. And I'm going to be starting on this back over here, this back rear floor support, I believe is what it's called, and the two corners. They're in just horrible shape. And I was kind of looking at it, and that's actually probably even going to be the hardest part yet. So we'll see. That's probably going to be coming up in the next video, so stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and thank you for watching.